Good morning, everyone, or good afternoon or evening, wherever you might be. We're so happy to have you here today. This is our webinar for international students coming to join us here this fall on campus safety. We're going to go ahead and review a lot of really good information today. So we're going to go ahead and just jump right in and get started on this morning's webinar. So my name is Gabriella or Gabi Hoffman. I'm the Senior Director of the International Services Engagement Office here at UC San Diego, and it's my pleasure to be joined by my colleagues who are here on the webinar. I'll go ahead and have them introduce themselves, starting with John Carlos.
Excellent. Well, thank you, Gabby, and good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are and whenever you might be watching this. My name is John Carlos Sr., and I'm the Director at Student Legal Services. So I'll pass it over to Jessica.
Hello, folks. My name is Jessica. I use she, her pronouns. I'm a training and education specialist with CARE at the Sexual Assault Resource Center, also known as CARE at SARC. Go ahead and pass over to Pachia.
Hi, everybody. Excited to be here with all of you. Welcome. My name is Pachia Vu, and I'm an assistant director with Student Financial Solutions. And I'll go ahead and I'll pass it over to Shauna.
Hi, everyone. My name is Shauna Slabiota. I work in graduate education and postdoctoral affairs, and I'm here to help any graduate students who might have questions about admissions or just getting started at UC San Diego.
Thank you, everyone. Next slide. All right. So before we begin this morning, just a few housekeeping items to go over. So just so everyone is aware, you are all in listen-only mode. You can hear us, but we cannot hear you. That doesn't mean we don't want to hear from you in terms of questions. So you can ask questions. Please feel free to using the Q&A feature. You can also contact us at icontact.ucsd.edu if you have more in-depth questions or anything that you want to go over with an advisor. We are recording today. You'll be able to view this webinar recording at inewstudentwebinars.ucsd.edu. And we do send out links to all of our webinars for our new students, so that you can review these in your own time in the months leading up to your arrival to UC San Diego. So before we get going, just a brief overview of the Zoom control panel that you all have. Again, if you'd like to submit any questions, you can send that through the Q&A button on your control panel, and it will be sent privately to the presenters and panelists. All presenters will stay online after the presentation for about 15 to 20 minutes or so to answer questions. If we see certain common questions come up, we will read those out loud so that everyone can benefit from those answers, but we will not identify anyone who has asked a specific question by name or anything like that. So please feel free to put those questions in the chat. All right, so first let's go over a brief introduction of ISEO, or the International Services and Engagement Office, or the office hosting this webinar series. We are here to support you throughout your time at UC San Diego, and want to take a few moments to introduce you all to us. Next slide. So ISEO offers a number of different services, including pre-arrival support and orientation like this, exactly like the webinar that you're viewing now. We're also the office on campus that will support you in maintaining your status as an international student throughout your time here as a student and beyond, if you choose to partake in work authorization after you complete your degree. So many students will utilize our services for many, many years during their time here at UC San Diego. To do so, to serve all of you, we offer virtual and in-person advising. We process immigration documents, so those I-20s and DS 2019s, and a number of other services. And in addition to that, we also offer a number of programs and events to cultivate a globally engaged community here at UC San Diego. Our vision is to foster an inclusive and globally engaged university where all members of the international community have equitable opportunities to achieve their academic, personal, and professional goals and that cultivate a culture of global citizenship. Now let's talk a little bit about the populations that we serve. We are fortunate here at UC San Diego to have a very robust international community. We support over 10,000 international students, including both enrolled students, as well as students who are here working after graduation. We have over 2,000 international faculty and scholars who work here at UC San Diego. And with these international students and scholars, we support over 1,000 international family members as well. So to do so, we work collaboratively across campus with a number of different partners to support our service population of just under 14,000. But let's take a moment here to focus a little bit more on our international students. That's who we are talking to today. As you can see, we have over 8,000 currently enrolled international students with a pretty even split of about 4,000 undergraduate and graduate students respectively. You can see the most popular academic departments as well as places of origin here. However, we have students coming from over 100 different countries. So you are joining a robust international community here at UC San Diego. And just a quick note, you can access this information on our website under reports and publications if you want to take a closer look at the community you're joining here. All right, now for just a few reminders on actions to take your first few steps as a new Triton before we get into the presentation that I wanted to review with all of you. All right, so for graduate students, those of you who are graduate students joining us this morning, just a reminder, if you haven't done so already, hopefully you have if you are here, but to please log in to your applicant portal if you haven't done so and accept your offer of admission. Be sure to fill out the Statement of Legal Residence form if it's listed there. This form is not required for all programs. If it's not listed, then there's no action you need to take and you don't need to worry about it. But if it is there, please complete that form. Most students are provisionally admitted, is what it's called, at this time. So please submit the items listed, excuse me, under your pending admissions documents section in order to finalize your admission. If you have any questions at all about your documents or any other pieces of the process, please contact gradadmissions@ucsd.edu. All right, and for our undergraduate students, it's going to be really important when you have access to your applicant portal that's listed here to please make sure that you complete those items on the enrollment checklist. They are laid out in date order so that you can keep on top of when things are due. Of course, please be sure to accept your offer of admission, complete the California residency for tuition purposes questionnaire if required. You can also find information there on how to request your visa documents from our office. So make sure to consult with that. That will really be your guide in working through the first steps after you've accepted your admission. All right, and finally here, our dedicated webpage on the ISEO website for our new undergraduate and graduate degree students, inewdegreestudents.ucsd.edu. This is the page you can visit here directly, or you will be taken to this page following the instructions in your applicant portal to request your I-20 or DS 2019. It offers robust information on next steps you need to take in requesting your documents and also making sure you have everything in order to enter the United States this fall. All right, so we are done with our reminders here. I do at this point want to go ahead and turn it over to my colleague Sheldon King from the UC San Diego Police Department, who will lead us off in discussing their services and campus safety for all of our international students. Welcome, Sheldon.
All right, thank you. I appreciate it. So I'm Sergeant Sheldon King. I work with the police department. Been here 20 years. There are a lot of slides, so I'm gonna have to fly through this. I'll touch on each slide. If you have any questions, then just go ahead and put them in the chat, and I'll try to get them answered. Next slide, please. I'm just gonna go over how to stay safe on campus and what to expect when you get here. A lot of international students don't really get a police orientation, so I wanted to give you a little something so you can have an idea of what to expect when you arrive on campus. Next slide, please. In the United States, we have a ton of laws. The land of the free, not really. We have federal laws across the country. We have California laws, which will be the state that you come in. We'll have municipal codes. That would be the City of San Diego municipal codes. And then the UCSD even has their own set of campus codes and policies. Next slide, please. On the UCSD campus, there are 50 officers here. We are a sister school to UCLA, UC Davis, the 10 other campuses. The officers here focus on students. So it's a little bit different than the city police. And we always get the question, why is there a police department on campus? Mainly because there are 70,000 people here pretty much daily. So it warrants a police department. The University of California has adopted the tiered response model. And what that is they're trying to keep the police out of a lot of things that they don't need to go to. Next slide, please. One of the tiered responses will be the USOs. So for those who are living on campus, you will probably run into a USO. Next slide, please. They are professional security. They go through a rigorous background like the police officers do here, and they have extensive training on top of that. Next slide, please. So these are the USOs, University Safety Officials. They patrol the residential areas on campus. So if you live on campus, there's one USO that is assigned to each housing area. They conduct door lockouts. They're an information resource. They educate the students on housing standards for residents. They do document violations. So if you're having loud music or having any type of issue, they will document it and get it to housing or the student conduct, depending on what happens or what's happening. All right, next slide, please. So nightly, they pretty much conduct duty walkthroughs with the RAs. They do give safety training to residential and housing advisors. They will do first aid and CPR. They will go over active shooter. They will also partake in community events. So they'll do tabling. They'll come to certain areas, and then also the police department will give out pizza during finals, depending on which area you live in, or each area rotates. Next slide, please. These are the initial trainings that they take in order to be a USO. Say they have to go through an extensive amount of training: first aid, CPR, de-escalation techniques, implicit bias training, laws of arrest, anti-hazing, conflict resolution. So they go through a ton of training just so they could have that training when they're interacting with the students on campus. Next slide, please. Additionally, they also have body-worn cameras, and it's for their safety, for the safety of students. So they'll record every interaction. They work from 8 p.m. to 6 a.m. They only work at nighttime. They do not work during the day because the housing department is open during those times, during the day shift. Next slide, please. We also have CSOs, community service officials. We employ UCSD students. They have the most awesome boss ever, which is me. But if you're interested in becoming a CSO when you get here, I welcome the international students. They get paid $18.25 to $20.65 an hour, have flexible schedules, and won't conflict with your classes. This job is great for a resume, and the person on there is Ali. He's about to graduate. I'm proud of him. He just got hired with Google a few weeks ago, and so he'll be leaving the program. But this job does open a lot of opportunities. So when you get here, you can apply in the fall. Just go to the CSO website. All right, next slide, please. These are their job duties. I won't go through all of them, but the main job that they have are eyes and ears for the police department. They have direct access to the police department. They don't enforce. They just mainly call in officers if they need them. And then also they work events. So they'll work commercials, concerts, graduation, sun god. They'll do traffic control, watch equipment, things of that nature. So next slide, please. I'm just going to talk real quick about the law enforcement part of when you get here, because a lot of international students find themselves in trouble sometimes. So next slide, please. So these are common violations. We'll go through a few of them. Just fake ID, minors in possession, open container, resisting arrest, things of that nature. Next slide, please. The first one, giving false information. It's a big no-no for police officers. We've all been in college before, all of the officers here. So we understand, but please don't give fake IDs. It's just going to set yourself back and cause additional trouble. So please provide your ID, your true ID, once they contact you. Next slide, please. Furnishing alcohol to a minor. This is friends giving friends, especially their suite mates, alcohol. You cannot drink until you're 21. There'll be up to a $3,000 fine. And even if you're hosting a party and you have alcohol at that party, You better know who's at your party because it could cause you issues giving alcohol to a minor. So next slide, please. Open container alcohol, even if you're not drinking it and you're holding it, it's considered a violation in the United States to have that open container of alcohol. So if you are 21, keep it in your room, keep it inside. Do not bring it outside. The next slide, please. Public intoxication, this is a big one. All right, you must drink responsibly. People get here, have a good time, start drinking a little too much, and ending up putting themselves in a position. It is a misdemeanor in California to be under the influence to where you can't take care of yourself. So just keep that in mind. Next slide, please. Loud music, another problem. You do have neighbors if you're going to live on campus, and those neighbors, you may be done with finals, um, you may not have something to do, but your neighbors may work a night shift or something. So just keep the music down, keep the talking down during quiet hours because some people may have other things to do and try to get rest. So just keep that in mind. Next slide, please. All right, what to do if the police contact you or try to stop you? Don't run, don't argue, don't touch, do not resist. Tell the truth, don't lie, stay calm, and go with the flow. If you have to go to court for some reason, dress professionally, be prepared, have something to say. Keep in mind when you come to the States, you have rights. You have your rights. So just keep that in mind. And the next part of this presentation, John to go through that. John Carlos will go through that. Next slide, please. Property theft is big. If you're going to have property, just make sure you initial it, engrave it, put something on it to where you can identify it. Do not go buy an expensive electric scooter or an expensive electric bicycle. That's our biggest issue on campus, are bike and electric scooter thefts. Or electric bike thefts. So don't go buy an expensive one, get something cheap, something that can get you around. Next slide, please. Extortions and scams. Our international students continue to get scammed. I wish they would have watched this presentation so they can understand. Throughout the rest of it, you'll hear scam, scam, scam. But just to give you all, the largest scam that's happened to a UCSD student was in 2024. Next slide, please, or arrow. $1.1 million loss. So don't let that happen to you. All right, next slide, please. Just tips, no loud music after hours, stay with your friends or group, try to stay under the radar if you can. Know your limits, have a drink cutoff, be disciplined, and the biggest thing is drink responsibly if you're going to drink. Next slide, please. So before I go, I'm going to give you your first exam. First question, please. Two people riding on an electric scooter, legal or illegal? It is illegal here to have two people on the scooter. Next question. When riding one-wheel micromobility scooters, you must wear a helmet. The answer is true. You have to have a helmet on. Next one, please. When driving an electric scooter, you could drive through a stop sign or without stopping if it is clear. That is false. You cannot just drive through a stop sign if there's no one there. You have to stop at the stop sign. Next one, please. Biking and electric scooters are not cars, so they do not have to follow traffic laws. That is false. You must follow all traffic laws, even if you're on a bike or scooter. You go ahead. You can drive an electric scooter without a U.S. driver's license. That is false. And you need a driver's license in order to drive the electric scooters. Next one, please. Driving a car, riding a bike with one earbud in your ear, legal or illegal? That is legal. You can have one. Next question. What about two earbuds? That is illegal. You need to hear firefighters, paramedics, police officers coming, so you only can wear one. Next slide, please. If it's 2 in the morning, no one's around, you can ride through a red light or a red hand without stopping. That is illegal. You have to wait for the light to turn green. I know it may sound ridiculous, but you must wait till it turns green. Next one, please. You can ride a bike or electric scooter through a crosswalk without stopping for cars. That is false. You have to wait for cars. You have to be safe, just like a car has to be safe. You can't just go through a crosswalk. Next one, please. The last one. Can you walk through a crosswalk without stopping for cars because the pedestrians have the right of way? And that is false. You must stop. Also, you can't put yourself in danger. The car has to be aware. Next slide, please. Here's contact information. So if you're out there, go ahead and screenshot it, take a photo. But that's the number to the campus, to the police department, non-emergency number, and community service officer. If you need an escort from sundown to sunup, you can get an escort. If you're living off campus, that is the number to the local police department. And we do have an Instagram page, UCSD PD. I don't have, we also have a therapy dog called Diego. His mom is watching this presentation right now, so we have to get him on here as well. But thank you. That's it for the police department. Next slide, please. Y'all stay safe, stay strong, and stay positive. Thanks, Gabby.
Thank you so much, Sheldon, for that great information. I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to my colleague, John Carlos, to present his section here. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Thank you so much, Gabby. And hi again, everybody. As I said previously, my name is John Carlos Sr. I'm the director at Student Legal Services on campus. So we provide free, confidential counseling, education, and referrals to all currently registered UCSD students. So as long as you are a student at UCSD, you have 2 free lawyers to come talk to about any legal questions, issues, or problems that you might be having. One thing that I want to mention about my colleague, I don't know how y'all did on that quiz there, your first UCSD quiz. But I think it's important to recognize that the good news is that, and as Sergeant King, I think, really emphasized with those questions, we're a really safe campus generally. But there are absolutely things that you need to worry about. So the fact that a lot of the questions were about electric scooters, and the truth is that scooter accidents happen much more frequently on campus than criminal activities. So you want to be really, really careful. And of course, as Sergeant King also mentioned, the biggest, or one of the biggest problems that we see on campus is theft. So yeah, it's very important to be mindful of your things. So yeah, with that, I want to, if you wouldn't mind going to the next slide, please. I'll talk a little bit about scams, which, as Sergeant King warned you, is absolutely a problem, particularly for our international students. I'm going to talk about insurance, which isn't actually a scam, but I think it's important for international students and really all students to know. And then a little bit about off-campus housing, which is the single biggest sort of issue that we see at Student Legal Services. So next slide, if you would, please. So yes, scams, people trying to take your money from you. It's a very, very common issue. Sometimes somebody who's trying to take your money will ask you to deposit a fake check, like an actual document that they will mail to you that looks like some sort of like a means of payment, but then they'll ask you to do an electronic money transfer while the check is being processed by the bank. That's a warning sign of a scam. When it comes to one of the most, unfortunately, common scams that we'll see is students will receive a phone call, a lot of times in their native language. Sometimes it'll be an email from Social Security, from the IRS, which is the federal, the folks for the federal government who collect taxes, Homeland Security or ICE or Customs. If they don't call you, okay. So be very careful if you get a call from an unknown number, or even if it's a number that says that it's recognized. In other words, I've had a number of students fall victim to scams where the phone call that they receive, it will say it's from the Chinese embassy in LA, or it's from Homeland Security and from a particular officer, for example. They don't call. The government doesn't call you. They will send a message by mail. If it's something very serious, they'll go to your house, okay? But they're not going to call you. So if the best thing to do if you get a call and it sounds alarming is to hang up, is to say, let me call you back, hang up the phone, make sure that get the real number for whoever it is claiming to be. You can do an online search for that, and then call them. And chances are you'll find out that whoever called you before, as legitimate or scary as they might have sounded, was not in fact legitimate at all, and was just a way to try to get you to get your money, essentially. Other scams that we see, renting. So unfortunately, international students, you're in a difficult position if you're particularly trying to get off-campus housing, but you're not here in San Diego. Do your best to not send any money before you get here. Would be my advice. In terms of jobs, sometimes I'll see fake job listings, including even on our official UC San Diego website. Now, it's pretty rare, fortunately. Same with renting on our off-campus housing. It's pretty rare that scams get through, but sometimes it happens. So please be aware. The purchase of fake merchandise, that obviously is a concern. Anytime they ask you for a prepaid card, for an iTunes gift card, for cryptocurrency transfer, it's going to be fake. Okay. And then you don't, as I said before, want to send any money until and unless you have the keys, unless you have the contract in front of you. So there you go. Next slide, please. Again, unfortunately, a lot of our students are targeted by scams for folks who are saying that they are from some government agency. Again, you want to be careful. You don't, if they're asking you for gift cards or Bitcoin or cryptocurrency or otherwise, that's just not going to be legitimate. If they want to contact you, it'll be a letter or an official government agent meeting with you. I'm not suggesting again that you should ignore all of them, because sometimes they're legitimate. But before you panic, and especially if they're telling you don't talk to anyone else about this, that's a huge red flag. Okay, so again, the government's not going to ask you for money over the phone. You want to watch out for scams from folks, particularly from your home country, unfortunately, because they expect that you're going to trust them because you're from the same country and you speak the same language. So unfortunately, I hear about a decent number of scams, whether through WeChat or Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, other social media. Always try to double check, particularly if they're telling you can't talk to anybody about this. That's a huge sign of a scam. Again, they're not going to call you. They're not going to threaten to arrest or deport you if you don't pay them. If it's serious enough, again, they would go visit you. So as Sergeant King mentioned in a previous slide, the biggest loss we've had is $1.1 million, which is just heartbreaking. We got one, unfortunately, a student who was scammed just last year for $300,000. It was a fake Chinese embassy call where the phone number said it was from the embassy, and the student unfortunately was tricked by really professional people who do this as a job to try to separate you from your money. So if you ever get any suspicious calls, talk to your resources here on campus. Talk to Student Legal Services. Talk to your dean or whatever staff you might know to verify that this is legitimate. And by the way, if the police do contact you, if they do show up, as Sergeant King mentioned, you never want to physically resist. You don't want to be combative. One thing to keep it, and you absolutely cannot lie to the police or tell them false things. But you should also be aware of your rights, which are, among other things, that you do not have to speak to the police in terms of answering questions beyond identifying who you are. If you're driving, you have to show your identification. But in all other circumstances, you want to know your rights and be mindful that whatever you say could be used against you in a criminal process. So if you are interacting with the police, it's important for you to know your rights. Next slide, please. So you want to protect yourself. Again, this is about scams because, again, unfortunately, it's a big problem. So again, the biggest thing I would suggest is talk to folks if you're contacted, but you're not sure it's legitimate. You don't want to share your personal information publicly because that's how sometimes folks will find out about you and try to use that information because they saw something about you on Instagram or on LinkedIn or something. You want to be careful and not send any nude photos of yourself. Unfortunately, sometimes that can result in an attempt at getting money from you. And keep in mind that if you send any money through Venmo, through Zelle or PayPal, which a lot of folks here in the United States use, you're not going to get that money back because the bank is going to assume that you did that voluntarily. If you're defrauded in other ways, you might have an opportunity to get your money back, but not if you use any of these services. Okay, next slide, please. So it's either some steps that you might want to take. I'll just go ahead and not focus much on this slide other than just to tell you that there are certain steps that you can take, and you really want to protect. You want to be proactive if you find that somebody has taken has gotten a hold of your information. Next slide, please. Okay, and now, so enough about scams for me, anyways. A couple of things that I think are really important for you to be aware of. Number one, insurance. Okay, so not a scam. Insurance is something that you purchase to protect yourself. So you can get, if you're a student at UCSD, you will have to have some sort of insurance. And in fact, UCSD offers student health insurance for graduate and undergraduate students. So medical or dental insurance, it's not a scam, but understand that if a doctor or a nurse at a doctor's office or at a dental office, tells you that this is how much this thing is going to cost. Particularly, I've seen this, when it comes to Invisalign or other dental work where it's cosmetic, in other words, not necessary, but for improvement purposes. What they say might not be what your insurance covers. So it's really important for you to understand and reach out to your insurance and trust your insurance company to tell you what they will cover and what they will not. If you're living off campus, you want to get the best renter's insurance you can. So this includes different types of insurance. A lot of landlords require that you get renter's insurance. Even in those situations, it's best to get better insurance than the minimums that they might be requiring. So get good renter's insurance. That'll cover you in case there's a leak or a flood at the property from plumbing, which is a big problem. Unfortunately, a lot of buildings around UCSD. And also to protect yourself. There are some policies that will protect your laptop or your e-bike or your scooter. E-bikes are a little tricky, actually, when it comes to insurance, but you want to find out, you want to get the best renter's insurance that you can, I should say. If you're driving, a lot of our students, a lot of our international students like to rent cars and drive to the national parks or other cities or locations. Great if you're going to do that, but get the best automobile insurance that you can, whether you're driving regularly or you're doing it as part of a vacation. Liability insurance basically covers you if you're at fault, but it doesn't cover you in any other circumstances. So the best insurance you can get is called comprehensive insurance. That covers you not just if it's your fault, but if it's the other driver's fault or if there's a question of responsibility. So get the best renter's insurance you can that you can afford. And also check out the handbook that we put together a few years ago. Shana was kind enough to drop the link in the chat, and you can see it right there. But just a little more about information about United States law. Next slide, please. And then lastly, if you're living off campus, understand that if you have roommates, you are all agreeing to be financially responsible, not just for yourselves, but for each other. So what that means is if your roommate isn't paying their share of the rent, they can get in trouble, of course, from the landlord, but the landlord can also take legal action against you. So you want to be careful when you decide that you're going to live with somebody and make sure that you can trust them. One way to help that, I think, with help that trust is to use a roommate agreement. So something in writing, as you can see, you can find an example on our Student Legal Services website, where you basically just sort of write down what the understanding is between roommates when it comes to payment of bills and overnight guests and pets. These are issues that frequently come up that could result in violations of the lease. So you want to, have something in writing that maps that out. You want to take a lot. The next big thing is you might be asked to pay an amount of money when you move in as a security deposit. And you want to do everything you can to protect that security deposit. The landlord is supposed to hold on to that money, and it's basically meant to make sure that you pay the rent every month and that you don't damage or cause significant damage to a place. And you should get your money back at the end of your lease term, which is usually a year later or 9 months later. But you want to make sure that you take steps to protect your security deposit. You want to take lots of pictures when you move in and when you move out. You want to complete a written inspection checklist, which you can find one on our website if they don't provide one to you. At the end of your lease, you may be required to give written notice 30 days before you move out that you do plan to move out. So be mindful of that. There are inspections that you are entitled to as a tenant, again, to protect your security deposit and for the landlord to tell you of anything they're going to charge you for. So it's important to do those inspections. And then if you need repairs, if something needs to get fixed in your off-campus housing location, you're going to want to put that in writing, which will help you prove that you've made that request. If you have any questions, issues, or problems about any of this stuff, you can come to Student Legal Services. It's totally free. It's totally confidential. So don't hesitate to contact us. Next slide, but I believe that's it for me, although I will obviously be happy to hang around and answer any questions you might have. There is our contact information. UCSD is a great place to be, and we're really excited for you to come and to have you and reach out to all of us if you ever need any of us. We're a network of support, and you pay for our salaries, so you might as well. So thank you.
Don Carlos, thank you so much for that really, really wonderful information and for all of your support for our student community. I'm going to go ahead and pass it along now to my colleague, Jessica Valencia from CARE at SARC.
Hello, everyone, and thank you so much for joining us. And like John Carlos mentioned, welcome to UC San Diego. We're really excited to have you all. And I hope, as we're going through these services, that it's not too spooky, right? We just want to make sure that you are equipped and prepared for your journey here on campus and that we can support you in staying safe. And so I'll share a little bit more about CARE at the Sexual Assault Resource Center. We also go by CARE at SARC. By walking you through what our services are, who can reach out for services, and how we support students in their academic journey here on campus. So CARE at SARC supports student success and safety through violence prevention education and survivor support services. These survivor support services are confidential, which I'll talk a little bit more about in just a moment. But really the focus of the work that we do is in our prevention programming to educate our campus community about how to treat one another with respect, how to build those healthy friendships and relationships. And in our work, we, explore those dynamics of healthy relationships. We talk about consent and boundaries and ways that you can practice that and how you can also support other people by using active bystander intervention strategy. For our confidential survivor support services, we're really looking at supporting our UC San Diego students who may have been impacted by sexual assault, relationship violence, or stalking. It can be really tricky and difficult to talk about these topics. So we create a supportive environment where folks can explore what the impact of the incident has been and explore what type of resources or support they might be benefiting from and what we can do to connect them to our campus resources or off-campus resources as well. So I mentioned I would circle back to the confidentiality piece. So this is something we really like to stress with folks that we work with, that this is a privilege that we maintain on our campus, that one-on-one conversations with folks who have been impacted by sexual violence are protected by California legal law. We have a certification in place that enables us to maintain this confidential privilege. Why we stress this piece is because some folks may want to explore all of their options before deciding if they want to report or not. And we're a helpful first step in navigating all those options and talking through, what might happen next or what does that person want to happen next. There are some limits to our confidentiality, and those are folks have experienced any form of child abuse, elder abuse, if they're considering hurting themselves or hurting other people. And these limitations are consistent with other limitations that folks with different certifications may hold on campus. Our survivor support services are quite extensive, and these are really the folks that are doing advocacy with survivors who have been impacted by violence. We do provide 24/7 support. Typically during our business hours, our care program assistant, Madden, answers our phone calls and triages and connects survivors to our advocates. Outside of our business hours, we have a third service provider that is always accessible by phone and can connect a survivor to our on-call advocate at any time of the day. We do support all students, staff, and faculty. This is something that we make sure that we stress, that we can work with folks who have been impacted regardless of when or where an incident took place. So we know that many folks may be impacted previous to starting their journey here at UC San Diego. And just because it happened outside of UC San Diego doesn't mean they're not eligible for these services. We want to make sure that we're supporting people in both their student journey here on campus and their professional career by identifying any needs that may be coming up and trying to support them through the processing of trauma that they've been impacted by. The other piece that I always like to share too is that we can help folks who are supporting survivors themselves. So we know many times survivors go to their friends, their roommates, folks that they know before seeking out support. And that can take a lot of, capacity for folks to be able to hold space for this person. So we're able to extend our services to folks who are also in that supportive role. In terms of exploring all the options and rights, our care advocates can provide assistance in reviewing those reporting options. They can arrange for transportation vouchers and support with any accompaniment to those meetings, court proceedings, or any additional resources connected with the reporting process. In addition to that, we do have our case management resources. This is really connecting folks based on what they're naming their needs are. So we work with all our campus resources to support folks with any housing support, with any academics, if folks need flexibility with projects or due dates. If folks need to explore any flexibility around their employment or student jobs, we can support with that. And if folks do want to pursue long-term therapy, we work really closely with CAPS and Trent Core to support folks in setting up a good connection and relationship with a therapist. Outside of that, we explore holistic healing programs. These are alternative options to healing that explore, peer support, trauma recovery, as well as navigating, art, music, and movement as ways to continue the healing. Our prevention education and training services really are aimed to provide our students, staff, and faculty with the tools to help prevent violence from happening in the first place. Our goal with our prevention education is to prevent someone from being impacted by sexual violence and also prevent people from causing sexual violence. And these are really strategies that we use by focusing on interpersonal relationships and ensuring that folks have the tools and strategies to communicate clearly, to identify their needs, to express their boundaries, and to provide support if folks might need support. So oftentimes we're trying to create a culture of care by building empathy amongst our campus community so that if we see something that doesn't look okay, that we feel empowered to step in and support that person in that moment. We provide a lot of mandatory education through incoming orientation for first year and transfer students, as well as doing programming with our grad students. Outside of our mandatory education, we do a lot of request-based work. So we work really closely with student organizations and campus departments to put on workshops around healthy relationships, consent, and active bystander intervention strategies. We try to raise awareness about the importance of normalizing conversations around this and providing people with the tools to be able to have these conversations with folks. If folks are ever curious to learn more, I encourage you to reach out to our office, get involved. We do have volunteer opportunities as well as student internship positions if you are feeling called to learn a little bit more and get involved with our office. So the big piece here that I want to make sure that I am focusing on is our strategies to staying safe online. So many times we know with the increase of technology in our life, we are staying connected with people through our phones, through our computers, through chat, through our apps, through all these amazing spaces. And so what we always recommend folks do is really be mindful, like Giancarlo's mentioned, of what information you're sharing publicly and privately. Be mindful of the privacy settings of those apps and websites you're navigating. Be aware of who has access to that information, to those images, and what they might be able to do with them. We always recommend for folks to become really familiar with what their own boundaries may be, right? If you have boundaries around location sharing, around, giving people your personal phone number, your personal email, be aware of that and don't let someone pressure you into, sharing that information. We always let folks know anytime that there's a user who may be very persistent in some of the engagement, maybe engaging in some harassment, to be aware of the safety measures on those apps and websites where you can report that activity, and also be aware of once that activity becomes, very pervasive and maybe crosses that tech bridge and maybe it becomes a little bit more in person, or folks are showing up to places that you're going, whether it's a coffee shop, your classes, things like that, that you do reach out for support and you reach out to authorities. We want to make sure that we prevent things from escalating, and our priority here is to keep you as safe as possible. Now, we always let folks know that safety strategies are a helpful tool to navigate the world that we're living in. And we want to make sure that folks are aware that it's never your fault if there is some sense of, harm that happens, right? That people are very savvy in the way that they're causing harm, and they're getting very creative at how they can do that. And know that it is not your fault and that there is support available to navigate those options. I'll go ahead and leave you all with our contact information. You can always find us online. I recommend you spend some time on the ucsd.edu website to learn how you can connect to all the different resources on campus. You can find us on the website as well. Follow us on Instagram if you'd like to learn more about all the workshops and program offerings that we have available. You have our 24/7 phone number there, and we are located at the Student Services Center at the heart of our campus, which once you're here, you're going to know what that means and you're going to know how to navigate it. Thank you all so much, and we're excited to have you. Go ahead and pass it over to my colleague, Pachia.
Hello, everybody again. Again, my name is Pachia, and I'm from Student Financial Solutions. And for those who are not familiar with our office manages the student bill. So we're here to help you if you ever have any questions about your student bill, or questions about how to pay your student bill. We're the team that you would talk to. Our team also manages your campus ID card. So just wanted to give some tips on how to protect yourself. I know we talked about a lot of scams, and some of my colleagues have mentioned some of the things that I'm going to talk about, but my focus will mainly be on like how to protect your student account as well as your campus ID card. So the first is to always use official UC San Diego systems only. When you are wanting to view or pay your bill, always go directly to tritonpay.ucsd.edu. Don't click on links from emails that are like suspect. Always go directly to the direct link if you're not sure. And then same with all of our other UC San Diego websites. Always use the direct link. Now, to help keep your accounts secure, we've mentioned this before, do not share your login information with anyone. This is your single sign-on information, your Triton Pay information, any of your login information. Do not share it with anybody. If you have someone like a parent or a family member that maybe is going to help you with paying your bill or managing some of your finances, then what we recommend is that you set them up as an authorized payer. And you can do that by going to tritonpay.ucsd.edu. By doing so, they'll have their own login, their own password. Whenever you have a bill, we would send them a copy as well. That way, again, you're keeping your username and password secret and private to yourself. And then something that we've been stressing to all of our students, we have two-factor authentication on a lot of our websites. So you should never be approving a duo request, which is the two-factor authentication, that you did not initiate. So if you're just sitting there and you get one, do not approve it. You should know if you are sending a dual request to yourself to authenticate because you're trying to log into a website. So if you randomly get one, do not accept it. A lot of our students, you do it so often, sometimes it's easy to just approve. Make sure that you know where it's coming from and that you're the one that's initiating it. And then with your campus ID card, don't share your campus ID card number with other people. Do not lend your physical card to anyone to use or borrow. Treat your campus ID card just like you would a credit card. And if ever you lose your campus ID card, deactivate it immediately. And you can do that at the Triton eAccounts portal, which is on the website, like listed at the bottom of the page. Now, just some common scam tactics to avoid. Some of my colleagues have mentioned some of them, but again, just want to reiterate them here. Oftentimes, they're pretending to be university staff or police or immigration officials. Sometimes they offer discounted tuition. If you click on this link and you pay your tuition through there, do not believe it. We don't have discounted tuition or we don't offer anything like that. Again, use those official links if you're wanting to confirm. Sometimes they're phishing emails that are directing you to a login page and saying, oh, we need you to confirm your direct deposit information, or we need you to confirm the bank account that you have on file. So log in using your credentials and that's how they're able to steal your credentials. So again, use those direct links to check your account. And then sometimes it's overpayment scams. I know some of my colleagues have mentioned that. They want to send you money, but they're going to send you a little bit more so that you can, send them a little bit back. Don't do any of that. And then some other red flags to watch for. Oftentimes, they're asking for urgent demands for payment or urgent action. Sometimes they may send threats. Sometimes it's requests for unusual payment methods, like, oh, pay with using a gift card, Zelle or crypto or Venmo. If you go to our website, tritonpay.ucsd.edu, we'll list all the valid forms of payment for the university. So whenever you're wanting to pay your bill on campus, only use those valid methods. And again, requests to verify your login, password, bank account information, or like if you get a dual, that you didn't initiate, don't accept any of those. Oftentimes it'll be emails with like misspellings or incorrect grammar, or maybe, a suspicious email address that you don't recognize. Again, do not follow the instructions. Do not click on any links. Reach out to us for help. So then what do you do if something feels off? We often encourage our students to pause. Do not act right away. Don't send money. Don't share information. Verify first. Go directly to the UC San Diego website from the department or the person contacting you to double check the information. And contact us, using our known contact information. It's posted all over the websites. And then finally, ask for help. I listed everybody here, but honestly, any UC San Diego office, if you get an email, a call, an inquiry that just feels off, contact anybody. Have a second person take a look at it. When in doubt, this one step of just double checking can help prevent the scam. And then this is our contact information here. We're located also at the Student Services Center on the first floor, called the Triton Pay office. Our phone number is listed here, so please don't hesitate to call us if you have any questions at all. We also have a Student Services and Support portal. The link is located there. You can always submit a ticket to us there, or we've got some, KVAs with the information that you can review there. Our direct website is sfs.ucsd.edu, and we also have an Instagram where we often share things like payment due dates or scam tips, different things like that. So if you're on Instagram, please follow us as well. And with that, I think that's my last slide. So I'll go ahead and hand it on back to Gabby.
Thank you so much, Pachia. And Sai, for the interest of time, I think we're going to skip this section. If we can just go to slide 76, please, that would be wonderful. A lot of the information here that Sai is moving through is what we've covered already in the presentation. So we're just going to wrap up. So if you could continue to advance the slides to our important deadlines and reminders slide. I just want to end on that, make sure folks know, perfect, thank you. Where to be headed next, where to be thinking through next steps. So just for everyone to be aware, especially our undergrads who might be on this call, on this webinar, believe undergraduates just got access to their student accounts and their email addresses so they can start requesting visa documents. So please go ahead and visit iservices.ucsd.edu, or you can access the link in your applicant portal. Same for graduate students. You can access this system, but you will receive an email invitation at this time from our office to apply for your I-20 or DS 2019. So be on the lookout for that. Mid-April is when students may apply for on-campus housing. Please be aware that you do need to accept your offer of admission before you apply for housing, so make sure you follow all those steps before you apply. Housing deadline quickly here, June 7th is for first-year students as well as transfer students, and you can see the web link there and how to apply. July is another set of important deadlines coming up. Make sure you are submitting your health immunization requirements. It will also be found in your student checklists. Visit studenthealth.ucsd.edu, which will also list that information there. And then, of course, September is when everything starts to happen. Our students will be arriving. There's move-in, check-in, and of course, our international student orientation. More information will be released on those dates and what will be happening at iorientation.ucsd.edu. So with that, we're going to go ahead and just wrap up. We'll end on the last slide, the next slide here. That just goes over when our next webinar is, which will be getting set up in the US, what we like to call Surf Check Live, happening on April 28th. May 5th will be our CBIS transfer process. For those of you who are here and transferring your CBIS record, all of those webinars can be found at inewstudentwebinars.ucsd.edu. All right, so we'll just go ahead and end here. We hope all of you enjoyed today's presentation. As Jessica was saying a little bit earlier, we don't mean for this to scare you. This is really just meant to prepare you, and so you have all the tools at your disposal. Please feel free to connect with us or any of my colleagues here. Their information is in the chat. Thank you so much, Shauna, for sharing that. And then we are on social media, so please go ahead and connect with us there. We post regularly and send updates to our students this way as well. So thank you again so much for joining us today. We hope to see you at our next webinar, and we are very much looking forward to welcoming you to UC San Diego this fall.